And welcome to the DefSec 2022 podcast presented by Cisco. Day 2 of the trade show. And I got to tell you, it's the afternoon, but still there's a buzz in the air. People are doing business inside. You know, what's really cool right now is 100 students just arrived to walk around the shop floor to see what opportunities might exist for them in this industry. And I can tell you, there are plenty. This is our Workforce Development Day. So cool that they're all here. We are so happy to be in conversation with our next guest. So Adelaide, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm Adelaide Hawco. I was born and raised in Windsor, Ontario, and then I went to university at RMC. So I went there for 4 years. I joined the RCN at the beginning of that, so moved out to Victoria and then served 12 years in the Navy as a naval warfare officer. And I did my AWO tour, and then I released, and I'm now working with Niti.
So, wow, that's quite a journey. So you're from South Detroit, you say?
Yeah,
right?
Pretty much,
South Detroit, and you joined the Canadian Navy. And you were an above water warfare officer, you say?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, how was that?
Yeah, it was great. I'm definitely very passionate about warfare, and I think the reason for the Navy, it's unique, where the only place you can get warfare is in the Navy. So I really enjoyed being in the heart of what the Navy is and serving from that warfare aspect on ship.
Right. What ships were you on?
Yeah, so I served with HMCS St. John's, Fredericton, and then I did my AWO tour with Toronto.
Wow. Yeah. So SWIC on all those ships, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was actually just SWIC on Toronto.
SWIC on Toronto.
Yeah.
Right on. So and now you're with Niti. Explain to us what Niti is.
Yeah, so Niti is Naval Engineering Testing Environment, and it's contracted through Weir.
Okay.
So Niti, for the capacity that I work with them, it's essentially provides subject matter expert to the Navy. So right now I work with Niti as anti-ship missile defense, and I work with CMS.
Okay.
So I provide that kind of shore facility subject matter expert to the Navy. So
wow.
we're contracted to the.
So you're a contractor to the Navy, specifically in the area of anti-ship missile defense.
Yes.
That's very specific.
Yes, it is.
That's a very cool thing to do.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome.
That's got to be amazing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I love it. It is very specific, but it does cover quite a big spectrum of warfare for the Navy. Because I'm working with the combat management system.
Okay.
Yeah, so I work with the combat management system and all the subsystems that are integrated, so the sensors and the weapons, and we've pushed into an AI realm, essentially, with warfare,
right.
And so it's kind of all getting meshed, like not just anti-ship missile defense, but tactics overall.
Right, it's all being blended into one, and you're at the forefront of all of that. Used to be a guy there by the name of Guy Lavoie. Is Guy still around?
There is. Guy is still around. I'm actually taking over for Guy, so he'll be slowly retiring.
Okay.
So Guy is mentoring me, and I'll take the lead in a couple of years.
Just for our guests, and maybe for you too, Jerry, is that hardly a missile has ever left a Canadian ship without Guy Lavoie being involved. He is truly an expert in this, and I'm sure that he's mentoring you into this role.
Yes.
This is a fantastic and exciting time.
Yeah.
And good that you're both there together to learn from one another as you go forward. Because I'm sure you're bringing new ideas to the table, and Guy is bringing a tremendous amount of experience.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love the way Niti has done that. So what about the trade show is exciting you?
So this is my first trade show.
Okay.
So firstly, that's pretty exciting. And just having, a full group of individuals and companies that are here to provide maybe a service, maybe an aspect to Canadian defense. Right. It's really that higher level aspect of Canadian defense, and also that future aspect right. of Canadian defense. And I just think that's really interesting to get, all of those players in a room together, whether it's specifically applicable to the RCN or what I'm doing on a day-to-day base. It's really all interconnected at some point, and it just opens possibilities for the future and where we're going maybe in 5-10 years, or maybe we're going in 30 years.
Wow. And there's some big players in the room that would be in this space, eh?
There are, yeah.
I guess you're in contact with the big Lockheeds and the like, yeah?
Yeah. So we work with, well, currently, because of where the RCN is and how we work with CMS, Contracts Lockheed, we work with Lockheed on a daily basis. So I kind of have that interaction outside of DefSec with Lockheed, which I have a really good experience with Lockheed Martin. And then there's a couple other larger players as well. I saw Irving, and then there's some other players who we're just starting to get involved with, like CAE, and so yeah, there's some huge players in the room, and there's some potentials as well.
And it must be exciting too for you to walk around, aside from the big players in the room, because you're right, you walk by the Lockheed stand. There's a few guys stood in the Lockheed stand over there that have shot off a few missiles themselves. I know that for sure. So they're no stranger to this world. But it's also exciting to see the small and medium-sized enterprises and what they're doing, and the new technology that's coming on. One that comes to mind that you might find fascinating is Avalon Holographics, and these are have you seen their booth?
Yes, I have, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That's awesome, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when you think about the future of anti-ship missile defense and what that can do for the battle space, pretty crazy, eh?
Yeah, it is. I saw Avalon specifically, and that just opens a whole new set of doors, and there's even various smaller companies that I'm seeing that they have a part that they could play or maybe will play in anti-ship missile defense, but across the board, whether it's the RCN, the Air Force, the Army, and I saw a lot of laser-based companies and a lot of companies that are based out of, aerospace as well, which we're already in that realm.
Right.
So it's just, it's really interesting to see the spectrum.
Missile technology advances rapidly. Now we talk about hypersonic missiles and stuff like that. What keeps you up at night? What are you most focused on?
That you're allowed to talk about.
Yes, that I'm allowed to talk about. Honestly, what keeps me up at night is that push into the AI realm, because anti-ship missile defense is progressing quickly, and we're moving into a battle space essentially where there's no time. And because there's no time, it involves the requirement for AI, for the system to conduct a lot of the actions that the operator used to do. And so now that shift has gone from the operator to pre-programming, which is where I'm at. And that pre-programming, because it falls into the autonomy level, there needs to be a match safety level. So for every step of autonomy, it needs to be matched with safety and hierarchy of the operator always having control. So that's what keeps me up at night, is making sure that as I step forward with that AI and anti-ship missile defense, that I'm matching that with, the safety as well, so that we're not engaging in anything unintentionally. So yeah, I definitely, that's probably where my head's at, on a day-to-day basis, is as we progress, we need to progress safely.
What a near perfect answer in terms of how AI plays into all of this. Fascinating stuff. So back to the trade show for a second. Your first
definitely.
trade show.
Yes, it is.
Probably it's a new experience for you. What did you think of the trade show?
I thought the trade show was awesome. I didn't know what to expect or how much would be here, and I just thought the trade show was awesome. I met some new people. Everyone seems very passionate, which I'm passionate about my job. Love to see other people who are passionate about their job. Everyone seems open-minded in terms of maybe where their company or where their technology can push and progress to, and what they can provide. So the people seem amazing, the products are amazing, and the possibilities are just endless. So I really like the trade show. I had a great time here.
Well, what a wonderful podcast here at the DefSec 2022 podcast presented by Cisco. And I tell you, the people of Windsor, Ontario should be pretty proud of you.
Thank you.
This is, I got to tell you, a product of the Royal Canadian Navy. You are an incredibly articulate person. Your understanding of anti-ship missile defense is impressive. I feel like we're in very good hands as a Navy, as a country. So thank you very much for your service and your continued service moving forward.
Thank you.